NASCAR champ Kyle Larson says he didn't think that he deserved a second chance after his use of a racial slur 18 months ago. He nearly lost his career over this. But in a heart-to-heart with our Coy Wire, he reveals to you, Coy, that he has learned, he says, his actions and his words impact other people.
Yeah, no doubt. He was one of the most dynamic racers within NASCAR, Robin, but last season his world came tumbling down after he used a racial insensitivity when communicating with one of his white colleagues during a virtual racing event. He lost sponsors. His team didn't even think, as you mentioned, that he deserved a second chance, but he was given one. And this season he produced one of the greatest seasons in NASCAR history. He tells me he's not only determined to continue learning, but he hopes his mistake can help others grow too.
I've had a lot of success these last 2 years, and it almost feels like I'm in some sort of dream.
Oh my God, guys! Yes! Yes!
And just a lot of relief, really, the journey that it took to get to that point. I can't believe the last 18 months where the lowest lows to the highest of highs has been crazy.
You were iRacing, used the N-word to talk to one of your colleagues, and you didn't realize there was a broader audience listening. You lost your sponsors, you got suspended. You said you didn't know if you'd ever make it back. What kind of mental space were you in during that time?
It was definitely, dark for sure, getting all the hate messages and stuff, and knowing that I just embarrassed myself, my family, my friends, a whole community of people. It just was definitely a dark place.
What I found interesting was that you said it was ignorance. You used that word because you didn't understand truly how hurtful, how negative that word was. And I think a lot of people would want to know more about that because in this day and age, maybe they would say that's not really a good enough excuse.
Yeah, well, I mean, I knew it was a hurtful word, but surrounding myself there for a short period of time with just a little bit of bad influence led to the ignorance. So I've learned so much ever since that night, getting to talk to so many different African Americans and learning their experiences. For months, I was doing stuff every week, whether it be doing stuff in the community or just having conversations. I just wanted to educate myself, and I'm in a way glad that I kind of went through all of that because it's grown me into a much more mature person with a whole new perspective on so many different things.
One of the people I know you've spoken to, Bubba Wallace, what were those conversations like?
It was tough. Immediately after the mistake I'd made, I mean, within a couple minutes, I had sent him a text apologizing, and finally I got to talk to him, and
What was his initial response when you reached out?
Just disappointed, that I would allow myself to make a mistake like that. So yeah, I'm glad that he, as well as so many people, were able to forgive me. And then getting the chance with Rick Hendrick, I've never felt like once I got back that this was a redemption tour or anything. It's just a great opportunity for me to use my platform to show people that have learned from my mistakes. So I'm a lucky person to get this opportunity, this second chance, that I don't really necessarily think that I should have gotten.
Why do you think you didn't deserve a second chance?
I think just because I'd let so many people down. I'd embarrassed the sport that I was competing in, and made a huge mistake. I was accepting of the fact that I probably won't ever race in it again. So just thankful that I did get the second chance and I was able to do good things through it.
Larson told me he's looking to use his mistake as a tool to create positive change. He's especially invested in to continue his long relationship with the Urban Youth Racing League, a nonprofit organization in Philadelphia that seeks to provide opportunities to urban youth so that they can thrive within the racing world. Robin.
You asked so many good and tough questions there in a tough thing to talk about. Did it feel like this man is earnest in his comments there and his desire?
He is still hurting, Robin, about what he allowed himself to do. He talked about he's half Japanese. His own grandparents were in Japanese internment camps here in the United States. He let them down. He let his family down. He let his colleagues down. He let all of NASCAR down, and he is now on a mission to become a better man and to help others learn more, to be more inclusive and sensitive to what others may be thinking and feeling in their lives.
I'm feeling grateful for you. Coy, thank you so much for
Rob.
that interview. Appreciate it. And we'll be right back.